I had been working overseas for half a year. Suddenly, Ryan, my good friend, shared one of my wife's social media posts. "Tomorrow is our wedding. All friends and family are welcome to witness our happy moment." Ryan complained to me, "After so many years, you're getting married and didn't even tell me. That's really not cool." I was stunned. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comments where you are listening from. Chloe and I had been legally married for 3 years. She had told me that a relative in her family had passed away, and due to a 3-year mourning period, we couldn't hold a wedding. Besides, I was thousands of miles away from her right now. Who was she marrying? I video called my wife and asked her what was going on. Without a hint of embarrassment, she replied, "I lost a game of truth or dare with friends, and I chose the dare option." I didn't say anything more. After ending the call, I immediately called my assistant. "Sell the 3 new shops I bought for my wife. She's going to marry someone else." After quickly handing over all my current work, I boarded the fastest flight back home. When I rushed back to the estate, I found the entrance of my mansion festively adorned, with 2 large wedding banners posted at the gate. A huge poster stood at the entrance, showing my wife in her wedding dress, her face pressed against another man's, both smiling blissfully. The bottom line of the poster read in large characters, "A joyful occasion for the family. Friends and relatives attending the wedding, please proceed to the Evergreen Hotel. Chloe Brandon, may your happiness last forever, and your love endure through old age." Suppressing my emotions, I tried entering the entry code several times, but it kept showing an error. Switching to facial recognition, it also displayed "person not found." It seemed my wife had changed my password and deleted my facial recognition data while I was away. I clenched my fists and went straight to the hotel where the wedding was being held. As soon as I entered the hotel, before my foot even stepped into the wedding hall, a security guard stopped me. "Attending the wedding? Make your wedding gift contribution first." "I'm attending my own wife's wedding. What kind of wedding gift contribution do I need to make?" I ignored him and continued to walk inside. Seeing that I ignored him, the security guard reached out and pulled me back. "Inside is Mr. Brandon's wedding banquet from the Jeong. If you can't afford a wedding gift contribution, don't even think about crashing the party for free food and drinks." "Mr. Brandon of the Jeong? My wife's lover is actually me?" At the time, William, my father, was clamoring to retire, so he put the Jeong under my name. But I wasn't willing to take over the existing family business. I wanted to build my own career from scratch. So I made a deal with William: if my own company didn't go public within 5 years, I would diligently take over the Jeong. To ensure I wouldn't back out, he still gave me a nominal position as CEO at the Jeong. But my wife never said she was having a wedding with me. And who was that man on the poster? Seeing me lost in thought, the security guard pushed me. Go on. Don't block the entrance. I swear, you beggars, always trying to sneak in when you see a rich family having a happy event. Aren't you afraid of bringing bad luck to their big day?" I took a deep breath and explained. "I am Mr. Ethan, and I'm here to find my wife." The security guard sneered, cutting me off. "What are you, delusional in broad daylight? Mr. Brandon is inside toasting the guests. Get out of here before I lose my patience and lay hands on you." I took out my phone and showed him my phone wallpaper, which was a wedding photo of Chloe and me. To my surprise, the security guard burst out laughing. "Buddy, no offense, but have you gone crazy dreaming of being rich? You even dared to Photoshop a picture of Mr. Brandon's wife? What's wrong with you?" As he spoke, he picked up a stun gun, ready to drive me away. "I'll count to 3. If you're not gone by then, don't blame me for getting rough." Amidst the commotion, someone walked out from the hall. It was Leo, the assistant I had specifically assigned to my wife so she wouldn't have to work so hard running her shops. Suppressing my anger, I waved to Leo. "Leo, tell him who I am." Too, but to my surprise, Leo's eyes darted away. He didn't dare look at me at all. He spoke to the security guard. "I don't know this person. Don't block the main entrance. If you delay Mr. Brandon's big day, you'll all be in deep trouble." Hearing this, the security guard immediately came over, grabbed me, and started dragging me towards the door. I couldn't hold back anymore and yelled at Leo. "Leo, 2 years ago, you were working at a restaurant, and you broke the boss's antique vase. The boss demanded you pay, but you couldn't afford it, so you sat on the floor crying hysterically. I paid for you and even gave you a respectable job. Have you forgotten all that?" Leo bit his lip. He looked at me, expressionless. "I haven't forgotten. You're just that obsessed admirer who keeps pursuing Mr. Brandon's wife. When you couldn't win her over, you started stalking and harassing her. You creepy pervert." The security guard who was holding me spat fiercely at me. No wonder he wouldn't leave. Turns out he's a pervert. They're already married, and you still show up here to bring bad luck. Have you no shame? Come on, guys. Help me get rid of this pervert. Maybe Ethan will be happy and give us a bonus later. As he spoke, several security guards, looking menacing, charged at me. They started striking me with the stun guns they held. I gritted my teeth against the pain and, seizing their inattention, ran directly into the hall. But they grabbed me again, pinned me to the ground, and started beating me. Several times I tried to get up, but Hay pushed me back down. During the struggle, a man walked out from inside the hall. Brandon glared angrily, his eyes sweeping over everyone. What are you all doing gathered here? Can't you see you're blocking the guests' way? Today is my wife's and my big day. Can you handle any mishaps? Everyone immediately held their breath, lowering their gaze submissively. The security guard who first hit me fawned over Brandon, stepping forward obsequiously. Mr. Brandon, there's someone here impersonating you, insisting that he's the CEO of the Jiang. We tried to get rid of him, but he wouldn't leave, which is why there was a commotion. Only then did Brandon turn his gaze on me. He held his head high, his eyes full of disdain. I stared back, and when I saw what he was wearing, my eyes welled up with rage. Because he was wearing the couture suit my mother had personally made for me the year I founded my company. My mother was a top designer, her creations were priceless treasures, and countless wealthy individuals offered exorbitant sums, yet my mother never designed a single suit for them. What's more, my mother passed away 3 years ago, and this suit became her last gift to me. I had never brought myself to wear it, keeping it tucked away in the back of the closet. How could it now be on Brandon? Filled with fury, I pointed at Brandon. Tell to get out here and face me. With a bang, Brandon punched me square in the eye. Is Ethan of the Jiang a name you can just throw around as you please? While I'm still in a good mood, you'd better scram, or you'll face serious consequences. My nose throbbed with pain. I touched it and found I was bleeding. I clenched my fists and spoke slowly, enunciating each word. I am her lawful husband. Tell her to come out and see me. At my words, laughter erupted from the surrounding crowd. In the crowd, a familiar figure caught my attention. It was my father-in-law, Stanley. When I got married, he owed over 300,000 in gambling debts, had sold the old family property, and was running all over the country to escape his creditors. It was I who paid off his gambling debts and even spent $3 million to buy him a house in the downtown area of his hometown. At the time, he was endlessly grateful to me, practically wanting to call me his brother. If he just opened his mouth, he could surely confirm my marriage to Chloe. 3. I grabbed him, speaking excitedly. Dad. However, Mr. Stanley shook me off, pushing me so hard that I stumbled. Before I could regain my balance, he kicked me hard from behind. I was knocked to the ground, the pain so intense I couldn't get up immediately. Who are you calling Dad? My daughter is the esteemed Mrs. Ethan of the Jiang. How dare someone like you falsely claim a connection? I looked at Mr. Stanley, utterly bewildered. He stood beside Brandon, his gaze filled with disgust as he looked at me. Dad, last year you broke your leg climbing a mountain. I put my company matters aside and went back to take care of you for an entire month. Have you forgotten all of that? Stanley kicked me twice more. Stop spouting nonsense. Brandon is my only son-in-law. You're just a delusional, obsessed admirer who couldn't win over my daughter. Fuming, I directly video called Chloe. I'm right outside the hotel. I heard you're having a wedding with someone else? Chloe immediately panicked. Aren't you still busy with your business overseas? Why are you suddenly back? Wait for me, I'll be right out. I narrowed my eyes at Brandon and Stanley, waiting for Chloe to come out and see how they would handle the situation. Brandon looked at me and suddenly chuckled. I know all about you. Chloe told me. She was touched by your pursuit before, and she did have a brief relationship with you. He looked me up and down, his gaze finally settling below my waist. Chloe said she gave you a chance, but you were short and small, and even after watching 2 hours of video, you couldn't get it up. As a result, she was with you several times, but she's still a virgin. I say, brother, you're not even a real man, what nerve do you have to keep bothering Chloe? Since she's been with me, she can't even get out of bed every day, always clinging to me and praising how amazing I am. I was furious. I stood up and punched Brandon squarely in the face. Shut your mouth. Brandon staggered back 2 steps, pointing at me. This bastard dared to hit me. Grab him. I'll make him pay dearly today. Several security guards instantly pounced on me, seizing me. Break his leg and cripple one of his arms. Beat him half to death, then throw him onto the street. Let everyone see what happens to anyone who tries to steal a woman from Brandon. Pinned to the ground, unable to move, I could only try my best to protect my head. Fists rained down on me. I felt excruciating pain all over my body, and the scent of blood quickly filled the air around me. I looked at Stanley, hoping he would intervene. Just then, I saw him retrieve broom and mop handles from a corner and hand them to the security guards. Hit him. Beat him to death. See if he still doesn't know what's good for him. In the chaos, I fumbled for my phone and dialed a number. The call connected, but before I could speak, a security guard snatched the phone from me. You dare call for backup? Let me show you a real lesson. The security guards intensified their assault, and Brandon and Stanley also joined in the mob beating me. Just as I was about to be beaten to death, someone rushed out from the hall. She ran to me and shouted, "Stop hitting him. Stop it right now." I felt a surge of blood, and suddenly, I coughed up a mouthful of fresh blood. Chloe, wearing her wedding dress, ran over, but she bypassed me entirely and took Brandon's hand. Honey, what happened to your hand? Why is it so red? She quickly called for the first aid kit and bandaged Brandon's hand. Brandon looked down at E from above. Honey, this guy insisted he was your husband and even dared to hit me. I couldn't stand it, so I fought back a bit, and now my hand is all red from hitting him. The security guards and Stanley all nodded in agreement. That's right, Mrs. Ethan. It was this random guy who came out of nowhere and insisted on attacking Mr. Brandon. Chloe crouched down, looking at my bruised and swollen face. With a sharp sound, she slapped me hard across the face. Ethan, how dare you hit my husband? I was stunned by the slap, staring at her in disbelief. For 3 years of our marriage, her entire family lived off me, and now she dares to hit me? Brandon spat on me, cursing viciously. You miserable dog. You're so eager to be a homewrecker, but they don't even want you. Got a taste of your own medicine, didn't you? Serves you right. Chloe snuggled into Brandon's arms, a sweet expression on her face. Honey, today is our big day, don't let a piece of trash ruin your mood. My heart sank completely. Before I left for my business trip overseas, Chloe had clearly asked me with reluctance when I would return. Yet now, right before my eyes, she was openly leaning in another man's arms. Just as I shakily got back to my feet, Brandon kicked me down again. He looked at the security guards. What are you all standing around for? Get back to beating him. The security guards snapped back to attention and charged at me again. At that moment, the hotel manager rushed over. What's going on here? Isn't Mr. Brandon's wedding today? I was overjoyed. The group had invested in this hotel, and my company had also partnered with them, so the manager had met me before. Mr. David, I am Ethan. My wife is having a wedding with another man behind my back, and I'm here to find out what's going on. They've not only humiliated me but also assaulted me. Please call the police for me immediately. Mr. David saw my extensive injuries, his face turning ashen. This is a hotel, not a place for you to commit crimes. To beat someone like this in the hotel lobby, do you have no regard for the law? I stood behind Mr. David, my eyes fixed on Brandon and Chloe. Chloe walked over to Mr. David and whispered something to him. In an instant, Mr. David turned around and glared at me furiously. Ethan, I never thought you'd stoop so low as to try and be a homewrecker. Your pathetic little company's partnership with our hotel is cancelled. He then gestured to a few security guards. People with such low morals should be taught a severe lesson, otherwise they'll never learn. Having said that, he retreated to the back of the crowd, looking as if he was enjoying a show. I was incredulous. Just as I was about to ask him what was happening, Brandon grabbed me by the collar. Ethan, don't you desperately want to be my wife's obsessed admirer? Now, kneel down and lick the mud off both our shoes, then kowtow 100 times. If I'm in a good mood, maybe I'll let you go. Several security guards instantly pounced on me. They grabbed my shoulders and pinned me to the ground. Seeing that I refused to kneel, they started hitting my legs with their stun guns. My legs went numb from the beating, and I was forced to kneel before Brandon and Chloe. Just as I resigned myself to despair, a commotion suddenly erupted at the hotel entrance. Everyone looked over to see Chairman of the Jiang, leading dozens of uniformed bodyguards, swarming in like a dark cloud. Seeing me kneeling on the ground, he trembled with rage. Ethan! With a single glance from him, the bodyguards behind him immediately beat several security guards to the ground. He instructed his assistant to call a private doctor for me, while also looking at Chloe with disappointment. You ungrateful wretch. My son, to marry you, didn't hesitate to give up an arranged marriage with the daughter of a billionaire family. He bought you houses, cars, shops, and supported your ventures, and now you're ganging up with OU. outsiders to beat him? Chloe was stunned by William's shouting, but in an instant, she let out a cold laugh. Ethan, you're something else. You've even learned to hire actors to put on a show for you now? Before, I was afraid my true identity would make Chloe feel inferior, so I never let her meet William, my father, only telling her he was retired far away. That's why she had never met the founder of the Jiang until now. What nonsense are you babbling about, old man? My houses and cars were all earned through my hard work running shops, and have nothing to do with this wild man. Besides, with Ethan's pathetic little company, worth only a few million, do you really think he could afford all this? And a marriage alliance with the daughter of a billionaire worth hundreds of billions? That's laughable, you can't even come up with a believable lie. The richest billionaire in this city is standing right next to me. He's my husband, Brandon, the crown prince of the Jiang. William was dumbfounded by Chloe's words. He thought to himself, he only had one son, Ethan. Where did this other crown prince of the Jiang suddenly pop up from? After speaking, Chloe looked at Brandon ingratiatingly. Honey, isn't our father, chairman, resting inside the hall? Call him out and open everyone's eyes. Let them see what a true billionaire looks like. Brandon's eyes darted away for a moment, but he quickly puffed out his chest as if he had made up his mind. You all just wait. My father tolerates no nonsense. When he comes out, you'll see how he deals with you. The security guard who had been pinned down by the bodyguards earlier also burst out laughing. You call that acting? When comes out, he'll beat you so badly your own parents won't recognize you. Mr. David, the manager, who had been on the outskirts of the crowd, now walked up to William, my father. Elderly sir, chairman is known for his iron fist. I don't know how much Ethan paid you to act, but I advise you to leave immediately, or you'll face severe consequences. The crowd also started advising William. Excuse me, sir, you should leave quickly before chairman comes out. Don't be so dedicated to your job, or you might lose your life and have nowhere to seek justice. William, my father, looked at me, rolled his eyes, and grumbled softly. I told you to come home and inherit the family business, but you insisted on running your pathetic little company. Look at this now, nobody recognizes you, and I'm getting bullied right alongside you. Just as we were talking, Stanley suddenly stood in front of us. I see if you have a death wish, you won't shed a tear until you see the coffin. Wait until Mr. William comes out later, he'll beat you to a pulp. After saying that, he patted William, my father, on the shoulder. It's not easy for an old man like you to work as an extra. I advise you to run now, or this time next year might be your death anniversary. Chloe also raised her chin. My father is right. If you don't leave, my father-in-law, Mr. William, will come out and kill you all. She let out a cold laugh. But before you go, you need to kneel and kowtow to my husband, apologizing. William, my father, was furious. Just as he was about to step forward and argue with her, Brandon emerged from the main hall, supporting an old man. The old man was dignified, wearing a tailored formal suit, and indeed possessed a certain aura. Before he even reached us, his voice carried out. Who wants to see chairman of the Jiang? Can you afford the consequences of meeting me? Chloe immediately rushed forward obsequiously. Father-in-law, Mr. William, it's them. They're causing trouble here and ruining Brandon's and my wedding. Victor walked to the front of the crowd. When he saw William and me, his legs immediately turned to jelly. He hastily knelt on the ground, his voice trembling. Be brother, no, chairman. The previously bustling crowd fell completely silent in an instant. 6. William, my father, picked up his cane and struck Victor directly with it. I wondered who was impersonating me here. Turns out it's my distant cousin. What now? Last time you gambled away your fortune, the Jiang family kicked you out, wasn't that enough? Do we need to strip you of your surname and remove you from the Jiang family registry as well? Victor was terrified. He knelt on the ground, kowtowing incessantly. Mr. William, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I was just paid to make an appearance. I never expected to actually run into you. I kowtow to you in apology. Please give me a way out, Mr. William. I beg you. At his words, everyone around was stunned. Brandon and Chloe, in particular, instantly turned pale. Chloe still wouldn't give up, reaching out to pull Victor from the ground. Father-in-law, Mr. William, what are you saying? This man is a fraud hired by Ethan. Please get up. Victor threw her hand away and slapped Chloe across the face. You hussy. You never told me your husband was Ethan. If I had known you were cuckolding my grandnephew, I would have dealt with you a long time ago. Chloe's head snapped to the side from the impact. She looked at Brandon. But she saw Brandon, who had, at some point, retreated to the back of the crowd, preparing to sneak away. William's bodyguards were all rigorously trained, quick-witted and agile. They instantly caught Brandon and threw him before us. Brandon trembled with fear. He knelt on the ground, kowtowing incessantly. "Chairman, I apologize, but it was this hussy, Chloe, who seduced me first. She tricked me with her mansion and shops. I only dared to impersonate your son to get her property. Please, I beg you, show me mercy and let me go this one time. I promise I'll behave myself from now on." I wiped a smear of blood from the corner of my mouth, let out a cold laugh, and looked down at him. "Hey, you coveted her shops and mansion, but did you bother to find out that all those things were given to her by me?" I then looked at Chloe. She was completely dumbfounded. It was only at this very moment that she suddenly understood. The husband running the pathetic little company whom she had always looked down upon was actually the biological son of chairman of the multi-billion-dollar Jiang, its sole legitimate heir. And the man she had willingly cheated for and fawned over was a complete and utter fraud. She dropped to her knees at my feet with a thud, clutching my leg. Husband, I was wrong. I was deceived by that huge liar, Brandon. I was led astray. Please forgive me, forgive me. I promise I'll live out the rest of my life faithfully by your side." I looked at her hypocritical face, feeling only scorn. What she was truly afraid of now, that I wouldn't want her, or that my assets wouldn't belong to her. "Chloe, without me, you would still be a penniless country girl without even a job. I married you, bought you a mansion, opened shops for you, and supported your entrepreneurial dreams. This time, when I went overseas for a 6-month business trip, I specifically bought you 3 shops as compensation, intending to give them to you. But you certainly gave me quite a surprise, didn't you?" Upon hearing my words, Chloe was filled with deep regret. She clung to my leg, crying piteously. Husband, I love you. Believe me, I was just blinded by that scumbag Brandon." With that, she stood up and kicked Brandon directly. "This is all your fault. You ruined my family. My husband and I had a great relationship, and you came here pretending to be some big shot." Brandon was enraged. He stood up and punched Chloe directly. "That's not what you were saying in my bed last night. Weren't you calling me your husband so sweetly?" Chloe panicked. She lunged at Brandon, trying to scratch his face. "Shut up right now. Ethan, my husband, is the only one in my heart. You mean absolutely nothing to me." 7. I truly had no mood to watch 2 dogs fight each other. I turned arrow and walked towards the private doctor's car, which was already parked at the entrance. Then I pronounced their fates. "Chloe, you're legally married to me, yet you cohabited with another man and held a wedding, which constitutes bigamy. I will sue you in court and ensure you are left with nothing. Furthermore, I will recover all the money you spent on Brandon during our marriage. Brandon, for impersonating me, assaulting me, and inciting others to attack me. I will enlist the Jiang's best legal team to ensure your charges of intentional assault are proven, and you will rot in jail." Upon hearing my words, Chloe and Brandon instantly turned deathly pale, both collapsing onto the ground. I turned my head, looked at them, and spoke deliberately, word by word. "I hope that even in prison, you can continue to be a pair of star-crossed lovers. After all, a match made in hell, deservedly together." With that, I turned and left without looking back, not sparing them even a single glance. William, my father, breathed a sigh of relief as he saw me get into the private doctor's car. My stubborn refusal to leave earlier had worried him sick. He waved his hand, and his assistant immediately stepped forward, closed the gates, and beat the dogs. The hotel's main entrance was instantly shut by the Jiang's bodyguards. William announced the consequences they were about to face. "Anyone who laid a single finger on my son just now will repay it 10-fold, 100-fold. Anyone who cursed my son will be tied to a hotel pillar and won't be released until they've cursed themselves 10,000 times. Victor, your name will be removed from the Jiang family registry, so you can no longer use the Jiang surname to swindle people. Your entire family will be driven out of this city. If you don't leave within 3 days, you'll be forcibly evicted." Victor instantly turned pale. He knelt on the ground, desperately pleading for mercy, but William, my father, didn't even spare him a glance. "Chloe and Brandon, hand them over to the police." After speaking, William, my father, specifically instructed the bodyguards. "These 2 are the principal offenders. Be careful when you take them to the police station. Don't accidentally break their legs or fracture their arms or anything like that. It would be difficult to explain later." The bodyguards, who had served William, my father, for decades, instantly understood. One bodyguard immediately rushed forward and kicked Brandon's leg, breaking it, while another bodyguard swiftly dislocated Chloe's arm. The hall instantly echoed with their blood-curdling screams. William, my father, feigned complaints, groaning and chiding the two bodyguards, while simultaneously arranging for the best doctors to treat Brandon and Chloe. No anesthetic, just brute force. Once that side was handled, there was still the other. William, my father, pointed at Mr. David, the lobby manager. This hotel was acquired by our Jiang last month. To collude with adulterers and slander your own boss's son, your courage is commendable. You're fired. And the Jiang will make the truth known to all companies in this city. If you manage to find another job in this city, then we'll consider our work unfinished. Oh, and you too. He pointed at Chloe's assistant, Leo. My son gave you a respectable job, but you didn't want it, so you can go back to waiting tables. Conveniently, our company cafeteria needs a dishwasher. I'll send all the other dishwashers on paid leave, and you'll wash every single dish. 8. Stanley, seeing his daughter Chloe ceaselessly wailing from her treatment, mustered his courage and stood before William, my father. Mr. William, I tell you, I was also deceived by that scumbag, Brandon. She was with Brandon because she thought he was the Jiang heir. Now, my son-in-law, Ethan, is the Jiang heir. Isn't that a happy accident, arriving at the same destination through different paths? Look, she knows she made a mistake now. When I get back, I'll definitely give her a good scolding. Mr. William, please give her a break. We'll still be family, won't we? William, my father, was so amused by his nonsense logic that he chuckled. He struck Stanley with his cane. I see you're not even as old as me, so why are your ears failing so early? Didn't you hear my son just say he would leave Chloe with nothing? I originally planned to deal with you after these security guards, but it seems you're impatient. I hear my son bought you a house in your hometown. We'll take it back, and then we'll publicize your daughter's infidelity back in your hometown for all to hear. William, my father, tapped his cane loudly on the ground. Humph, let's see how you'll face anyone with that old face of yours. The security guard who first assaulted me was now shrieking under the Jiang bodyguard's relentless beating. In the chaos, he tried to run but was dragged back. The remaining security guards also received their deserved consequences. The onlookers outside, and anyone who had insulted me along with Chloe's group, would also be sued for public defamation. Finally, the bodyguards impressively handed over 2 full vehicles of people to the police. After was taken to the police followed the leads and uncovered that this wasn't his first time engaging in fraud. He was a con artist specializing in swindling wealthy women, renting luxury cars, pretending to be a rich second-generation heir, hiring actors. This entire routine was second nature to him. Upon hearing of his arrest, over a dozen wealthy women flocked to the police station to present evidence and identify him. Ultimately, he was sentenced for multiple offenses to 12 years in prison. All assets he acquired through fraud were auctioned off as compensation, completely wiped clean. After entering prison, he was considered the lowest of the low by other inmates. Later, I heard he offended a gang leader in prison and was exiled. Tally beaten to death. All the evils he committed eventually came back to haunt him. 9. As for Chloe, she was sentenced to 8 years in prison for bigamy and intentional assault. However, on the day of sentencing, she suddenly fainted in court. The forensic doctor discovered she was pregnant, so she was released on bail. She escaped when the police weren't paying attention. While I was in a company meeting, I saw Chloe, looking disheveled. Unlike the radiant Chloe I had seen at the wedding just days before, she had lost a lot of weight, sporting 2 large dark circles under her eyes, and her hair was a mess. Seeing me, she pounced like a hungry wolf, dropping to her knees beside me with a thud. Husband, I know I was wrong. Life in there is hard. Please forgive me, won't you? As she spoke, she started slapping herself. Husband, I'm pregnant, 2 months along. This is God's chance for me to start over. I know you love me, and I love you too. Do you remember what you said when you proposed to me? You said you would love me and take care of me forever, that you would never abandon me, husband. Back then, my love for Chloe was indeed genuine. She was simple and innocent back then. I thought she was the most wonderful girl in the world. When William, my father, asked me to conceal my family background from her, I still felt guilty towards her, buying her houses, cars, and opening shops for her. In truth, she wasn't good at managing shops, over a dozen of them went bankrupt under her management. But our Jiang family wasn't short on that kind of money, so I let her be. But I never imagined she would cheat on me, and with a huge liar who impersonated me, thoroughly cuckolding me. Besides, I hadn't been home for 6 months. What did her 2-month pregnancy have to do with me? I shook off her hand, speaking coldly. Chloe, we're already divorced. Whether you're pregnant or not has absolutely nothing to do with me. Chloe, her face red from slapping herself, cried piteously, looking utterly pathetic. Husband, I was tricked, I was forced into it. I know you're angry. Here, hit me. Curse me, hit me until you've vented all your anger. Just please don't abandon me, okay? Husband, I have nothing left now but you and the baby. As she spoke, she grabbed my hand and tried to hit herself in the face with it. I immediately pulled my hand back. I never hit women, let alone a pregnant one. Perhaps my attitude was too firm, for Chloe suddenly stopped crying. She pulled a knife from somewhere and pressed it directly against her throat. The employees in the conference room were terrified. I waved my hand, motioning for them to leave first. Then I sighed, looking at the distraught Chloe. Chloe, you should have considered the consequences when you were busy cuckolding me. Besides, the child you're carrying isn't mine. You brought all of this upon yourself. I stood up, not sparing her another glance. So whether you live or die, it has nothing to do with me. With that, I called for security. The security guard snatched the knife from Chloe's hand and then escorted her out. However, I don't know why, but when Chloe left, the look in her eyes towards me had completely changed. It was filled with malice and hatred. Chapter 10. The next day, I was at the estate with William, playing golf. William's assistant suddenly ran in. Chairman, Mr. Ethan is being targeted by online bullying. I looked at his phone screen. I found my name prominently displayed on breaking. Hashtag Jiang CEO Ethan pregnant. Hashtag Ethan's ruthless, he his wife. Hashtag president's indifference, rich but heartless. Hashtag clicking on it. I saw it was a video from yesterday when Chloe came to find me. It seemed she had a hidden camera on her. She had maliciously edited my words, leaving only what I said on the screen. Chloe, whether you're pregnant or not has nothing to do with me. Whether you live or die has nothing to do with me. Chloe had also gone live, tearfully accusing me in the live stream of the abuse she suffered over the past 3 years. She claimed I wouldn't let her work, confined her to the estate, making her do housework every day, slaving away for me. I must have been blind back then. Someone like Chloe shouldn't have been married, she should have been sent to a major film studio to act. Her acting would surely win an Academy. The online commenters, unaware of the real situation between us, flocked to her defense. I heard President was low-key, but I never expected him to be so cruel to his own pregnant wife in private. He's a beast. Abandoning his wife and child, so this is the kind of atrocious act the Jiang commits. Some thoughtless commenters directly went to the Jiang's official account to hurl insults, complain, and report. This caused significant trouble for the company's operations department. Someone doxed my small company's address, and people ambushed me at the company entrance, blocking my way and throwing rotten eggs and vegetables at my car. William wanted to hold a press conference for me, but I refused. This time, I wanted to end everything my way. I opened a new media account, registered under my real name, Ethan. As soon as the media account was opened, even before I posted any content, I had hundreds of thousands of followers. They cursed me on my profile, verbally abused my entire family, and told me to die. I ignored them all and posted my divorce certificate with Chloe. I also uploaded a video compiling the houses, cars, and shops I'd given her over the years, along with transaction records, daily good morning and good night messages, and message history. I released the unedited surveillance footage from the day I was forced out of the overseas and into the hotel, showing her in a wedding dress, arm in arm with Brandon, insulting and hitting me. Also included were the court's judgment statement for Chloe, and all the surveillance footage of her escaping to my company, holding a knife and threatening to kill herself. Throughout, I didn't say a single word. The public was stunned by one piece of solid proof after another. They never imagined that the seemingly delicate Chloe could actually be so vicious. Netizens quickly turned on her, flocking to Chloe's account to curse her out, reporting her account until it was shut down. As for me, I noted down the names of the netizens who had doxed and insulted me, and handed them over to the company's legal team. The internet is not a lawless zone, everyone must pay a price for the malice they freely unleash. The police quickly tracked down those who led the online bullying via their IP addresses. Half of them were paid online trolls hired by Chloe, while the other half were simply unhappy with their real lives, seeking attention by insulting people online. Ultimately, they were all placed under criminal detention for public defamation. I posted the final notice from the police department to the account and then never logged in again. Chloe was once again sent to jail. This time, she will face a 20-year criminal sentence. She gambled everything, trying to go down fighting with me, but in the end, it was all for nothing. I heard her child was lost, and she became completely delusional. But none of that matters to me anymore, as I'm busy with my company's IPO. Ethan, will eventually establish myself in this city without relying on my family connections. As for everything else, it no longer matters. Thank you for listening to today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your views, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.